Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to episode 53 of the Fighters Rep podcast. I'm your host, the Fighters Rep Fez, alongside my brother from another mother, Gary Ignorant Behavior, the king of South Miami and the Palm Beaches. Gary, how are you, young man?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It was hot as hell today, bro. I don't know what's going on. I parked the car outside. I got into that thing. I didn't take off my suit jacket. I thought I could make it. I almost ended up being boiled alive like a crawfish in the car, big time. It's great. It's crazy down here right now, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that weather ain't playing with you. I seen the dude with fully sweat out his dress shirt. I was working. He came and his dress shirt was like all like you like Jesus Christ, boy.
Man, listen, a little bit more and it was gonna start smelling like cooked beef in the car, bro. I'm telling you, that shit was hot as shit. But besides that, we had a great fight on Saturday. That's one thing I got to say about it. Even though we disagree on the outcome, we had a fantastic fight on Saturday with Serhii. I'm just going to say Sergey because it's easier for me. Serhii Bohachuk taking on, and he was the interim champ, I believe, taking on Vergil Ortiz at 154 pounds. Very exciting division now that Crawford has kind of moved into the division. And these are two guys that I think we were looking at, Gary, and I think His Excellency Turki El Sheikh was also looking at to determine who's going to win the Terrence Crawford sweepstakes next. But, I guess my point is great fight, Gary. That's one thing I definitely got to say about it. Action-packed, close, 2 knockdowns, people getting wobbled, people getting hurt. Tell me your thoughts on this fight, Gary, before we get into the nitty-gritty.
Oh, I definitely thought it was a fan-friendly fight. I mean,
Yeah.
I know people have been complaining Shakur was boring because Shakur was too defensive. And
Yeah.
then people on the other hand, they talk about Tio's fight was boring and you get, the other fights, Boots and Bud, they had their complaints. This fight, you got what you wanted, people.
Yeah. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
it. This wasn't Bud and Madrimov, playing the game.
I didn't think that was that bad, but yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad either because we appreciate boxing, we appreciate the sweet science. But the crowd got a little restless and
we're connoisseurs over here. We're connoisseurs over here.
People kind of wanted more action. Well, you got it. You got the action. You got the action in that fight. That was hey, both guys show that they're tough, they're durable, and they don't move their head much. But
you know what though? I felt like, I agree with you, but I felt like at times, I feel like Ortiz has the ability to.
Yeah.
I feel like at times, he was moving around boxing. Bohachuk, on the other hand, didn't really move his head much, but what he did do a good job at, Gary, in my opinion, was the high guard. He kept his hands up all the time, right? So a lot of the punches, this is why I think a lot of people, and of course, this is my opinion that you disagree with, but this is why I think a lot of people had Ortiz winning, is because a lot of the punches were landing, but I felt like a lot of them were landing on Bohachuk's gloves, on his arms, on his hands, and also, the boxing he was doing, right? I mean, it looked better. It looked flashier than Bohachuk's, right? He was able to kind of lower the front arm and move around and flick the jab and stuff. That's not what Bohachuk is doing. And I think just being able to do that may have, impressed the judges and stolen some of the rounds for Ortiz. But yeah, I didn't think he did enough. But continue, because you were kind of a bit on a roll there before I messed you up. And
oh no, you didn't mess me up because I was giving the short. You didn't want to get into the minutia of the fight yet. So I was just giving you just the regular general. It was a great fight, action packed. Both guys showed that they're tough. We seen Ortiz get up from 2 knockdowns quickly. I mean, like it didn't affect him at all. and get back in there. And we seen Bohachuk. That's his name 1,000 times. I don't give a fuck.
That was actually for Miami-Dade County Public Schools. That wasn't bad.
He got visibly hurt a few times in that fight.
Yeah,
but dude was taking shots and kept going. Even when he was hurt, he was still moving forward, which was kind of crazy to me a little bit.
I also wanted to credit Miami-Dade County Public Schools for minutia. I didn't think you had that in the lexicon for the podcast. And I'm glad, we're showing them that we grew up. Hey, listen, we may not be blue bloods over here, right? But we still got some sort of class and knowledge, right, Gary? Let them know. But anyway, bro, I thought it was an amazing fight. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually watching it with my dad. He was loving it. These guys were teeing off on each other, And this is what I want to say. When I watched it the first time, I wasn't really like paying attention 100%. Definitely I wasn't watching it with the intent to score it. And what I was seeing was, when I walked away from it, I felt like maybe Ortiz won. Because I feel like when Ortiz punches, Ortiz puts a lot of torque in his punches. Like every punch has really bad intentions. And so when he punches, he almost has to turn his head. Like he puts his whole this is what I thought. I thought you'd like this. He puts his whole damn nervous system into it, right? Like his head has to twitch when he punches. You know what I mean? Like he's got to turn his head and everything. But I think that really, also catches your eye, and he's got pretty fast hands. He's pretty explosive, not to say Bohachuk, it isn't, but it's definitely not to the same extent. But man.
Okay, so here's what I want to hear from you real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead, because I'm just talking shit at this point.
We're getting back into the minutia of it, right?
Be easy. I don't have a thesaurus around, so be easy on me.
I'm on my Stephen A right now. Anyways, it ain't too many words I'm gonna find. All right, but anyways, my thing to you is you said at first you thought Vergil, then you rewatched it because you text me, and you thought that Bohachuk won the fight. So give me what rounds, and why you think, and just you're kind of thinking, because obviously we disagreed on this. So I just want to see where you're coming from.
Well, so when I first watched them, I wasn't really paying attention a lot. I'll be honest. I maybe watched half, 3/4 of the fight, something like that. I don't know. I was hanging out with my dad. We were talking. The dogs running around the house, all kinds of shit. But then I sat down and I watched it with the intent to score it.
Yeah.
And once again, because I'm a dork like this, right, Gary? There's that Miami-Dade Public Schools kicking in again. I Googled and I researched, the ABC boxing criteria because I want to be up to date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I sent you the 4 criteria, right? I did that today.
I don't think you did.
You know what? I copied it and I was going to paste it. Maybe I forgot. But anyway, so basically, again, it gives you numbers 1 through 4. And I'm sure number 1 is clean punches, effective punching, right? Clean, effective punching. So when I sit down to score a fight, the most important scoring criteria, from what I understand, right? And my reading comprehension isn't the worst, Gary. I speak 3 languages, Gary. I went to Miami-Dade Public County School just like you, and I graduated law school. All right? So I like to think I can understand the English language a bit. My understanding of the criteria is clean, effective punches. So that's what I'm looking for first. Everything else it's important, but it's secondary or tertiary or whatever. So for me, in the first, I would say, third of the fight, right? Maybe rounds 1 through 4, 1 through 5. I gave Bohachuk some. Obviously, I had to give him. I think it was the first round where he got the knockdown, right? So I had to give him that fight. Now that round. Now had it been
in the 1 through 5, what other rounds did you give him?
Let me know if you could. Can you see me right now?
Yeah, I can see you. You can't see me?
Okay, no, because I just.
Well, you're freezing up right now. You there? got this big ugly look on your face right now, and this is what the viewers are seeing.
Okay, can you see me now?
I can now. Before you were stuck with like this big rockhead dumb look on your face. I just want to let you know.
Okay, well, I guess that's what happens when I'm on the mobile phone and I switch to the scorecard. But so I gave. Can you see me still? Yeah, you can see me still.
Yeah,
So I gave Bohachuk here. I'm just going to give you the rounds I gave him. I gave him round 1 because of the knockdown. I gave him a 10-8. I gave him round 4. And then for me, he rallied at the 7th round, and I gave him round 7 through 10. Yeah. And I gave him the final round. Now, I will say there were some close ones in there. You mentioned 7 and 9, which I thought were close as well, I believe. And I think the other one I thought was close was the 12th round. But here's the thing, Gary. Here's the thing. And I scored it, just so everybody knows, 115, 111 for Serhii Bohachuk. The reason I scored it that way, Gary, is because for me, it appeared that Bohachuk was landing more of the effective, clean punches, right? I felt like a lot of times, even for instance, when Ortiz swung and knocked Bohachuk off balance, sometimes it was, he was blocking it, and it was just the force of the blow that was kind of knocking him off balance. When I think about clean punches, I think about a punch that lands right on the chin, or right on the face, or right on the body, or right on the temple, whatever it is. And I felt like Bohachuk all night was serving Ortiz the 2-piece, bro. That 1-2 down the middle, especially that long ass 2 he had, bro, he could not miss at all. And as you can see,
one open.
Babe, come on, we're doing the podcast, babe. Don't kill me, babe. Don't kill me, man. So as you can see, I gave him 7 through 10. So I felt like as the fight went on, I thought Ortiz was fatiguing, Gary. I thought Ortiz was fatiguing a little bit. And I thought Bohachuk continued to land the more eye-catching shots. Now, where I believe, and he also dropped him in the 8th round. So that's 2 10-8 rounds. Now, I would have scored those rounds maybe 10-9 had it been closer, but I thought Bohachuk was competitive enough throughout that round, right? Even though Ortiz was doing the better work, I thought it was competitive enough that when he did drop Ortiz in those rounds, and they were flash knockdowns, I still gave him a 10-8. And I don't know, I just felt like he was landing the bigger shots. Now, here's what I want to say to defend my scorecard, and to kind of, I'm gonna pass it over to you now by saying this, right? I think the people that scored it for Ortiz may have got caught up, like I said, in the boxing swag, maybe a little bit on the volume, because it seemed the volume may have been a little bit more from Ortiz, but I didn't feel like his shots were clean and as clean as effective. Now, in some of the rounds, maybe he did land the bigger shot in the round, but one big shot, let's say 1 9 out of 10 versus 4 8 out of 10s. Well, I'm going to give Bohachuk that round. You see what I'm saying? So I felt like, he does snap his punches. He does snap his head. He looks like he's throwing hard. He looks like he's throwing fast. He's entertaining. He moved around like more of a flashier boxer. And I think that allowed him to catch the attention of people watching, the judges. But I scored at 115, 111 Bohachuk because I just felt he landed the cleaner punches in the fight and the more damage. And I think he did the more damage.
Okay, so I disagree with some of the things you're saying. Yeah. I agree with some of them. I disagree with some of them.
Wow, well, we're definitely making progress in this relationship.
Well, here's the thing: is I gave Bohachuk. I think everybody gave him round 1 and round 4. I think everybody who probably watched that fight said, "Okay, he got round 1."
You got to give him round 1. He knocked the dude down, and you got to give him round 8, Gary. He knocked him down in 8. You got to give him
no. I'm gonna get there. I'm going like you did the first half, right?
Okay.
So I guess 6 will be the first half, but let's say I gave him round 1. I gave him round 4. Yeah. I thought Ortiz clearly 1, 2, and 3. I thought 5 and 6, Ortiz came out on a mission, and he came out because he knew he had to knock down, especially after they told him, hey, that counts. I think it was right before round 5, right in the middle, right before round 5 started. They told him, hey, that knockdown in the first round, it counted.
Right. So we have it the same so far through 6.
So yeah, through 6, I only gave Bohachuk 2 rounds, 1 and 4.
Me too.
I gave him 1 and run. I gave him 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Now 7 is where it got tricky. This is where I think the crux of many people's evaluation, where many people go, because I feel like 7 and 9 are arguable. 8 isn't arguable because he knocked him down, and like you said, the round was competitive enough that it's a 10-8 round. It isn't, even though after he got knocked down, Ortiz started turning it up. But I don't think that was enough to not make it a 10-8 round. It's a 10-8 round. So, so 8, we know he won. Now 7 and 9 is where, and even on the judges' scorecards.
So look, real quick. So potentially you could have scored it 7-8-9. I had it 7-8-9-10 Bohachuk. But you're saying potentially 7-8-9 for you. You gave 7 and 9 to Ortiz, I believe. But is that what you're saying?
No. I gave 9 to Bohachuk. I gave 7 to Ortiz. So I basically have Ortiz winning out of the 7 rounds. I have him winning 5 of those rounds. Bohachuk only 2. Bohachuk, yeah, because you just said we were even. 1 through 6, 1 through 6, we both gave him. The difference between me and you is you gave him 7, 8, and 9. I didn't give him 7, 8, and 9.
And I gave him 10.
And you gave him 10, which is crazy to me. But
and 12. And 12.
Yeah, all that's crazy to me. That's nonsense to me. But anyway, 7 and 9, it's arguable. I felt like in round 7, Bohachuk started off the round winning, but then Ortiz ended. I thought he landed more impactful punches. They both landed impactful punches. I felt he landed more. And to me, just through this whole fight, it seemed like when Ortiz landed, it hurt Bohachuk more than it hurt Ortiz. Even though Bohachuk got the knockdowns. Let's make this clear. He got the knockdowns. But those knockdowns didn't affect Ortiz. That was more of a catching a person out of position, off guard kind of thing, because each time he hopped right up and was like, yo, no, I'm good. And even the 8th round, he got back in there and started winning the round if it wasn't for the knockdown, in my opinion. So, but I can feel when a few times throughout this fight, early on, later on, Bohachuk took some punches that he felt. And that he had to
for sure. But you don't think, let me ask you something. You don't think Bohachuk landed a lot of clean punches?
I think Ortiz did too, because neither one of them were moving the heads. Remember they said, "Oh, meet me in the center." Both of them high guard, coming forward, trading shots. I think when they traded shots, a lot of times Ortiz came out on top when they were trading. Now I think both.
That's why
I think Bohachuk might have, let's say, Bohachuk lands like 2, Ortiz lands 1. But that 1 to me was more effective than those 2 that Bohachuk landed. It might have been a 1-2. The first one was a jab, then it was a right. Boom. So that right caught him. But then I see Ortiz land a shot, and I see the way Bohachuk reacts to that shot. Then sometimes it was we trade 2 for 2. Feel like Ortiz was winning 2 for 2. You know, or it might have been Bohachuk lands 3, he lands 2 sometimes, or sometimes he outlands. I feel like when you see the high guard up like this, and you see him go and hit, you think that, oh, it's hitting some of the glove, but he's going around the high guard because the high guard is here. It's not here, you know, kind of protecting here. It's here. Every boxer knows you go around it. I can go around it. Then I want to get you trying to open up a little bit so I can go up underneath you, shoot through there with a jab or whatever, right? So I think that a lot of those shots were equilibrium shots. They even said it during a fight. When you watch it, you rewatch it again, you'll hear some them saying some of those looping shots that he was throwing Bohachuk equilibrium off a little bit. You know, because you get hit behind the ear, you get hit in the back of the head, it can throw you off a little bit. I even seen him do like this one time and they were like, oh, his legs are wobbly, because those shots matter.
Yeah, I know.
But I think we're also discounting the body work, though. We're discounting the body work because Ortiz had some nasty body shots. Just because it was Bohachuk was taking them, but he had some nasty. He was jabbing to the body. He was throwing hooks to the body. He was doing a lot of that, and so I don't know. Round 7, I thought he won round 7. He won the second half of the round. The first half of the round, I say Bohachuk, but then the second half, I thought he was more dominant.
Round 7, when they were talking to Bohachuk's corner, and then he started teeing off while they were talking to the corner, like he was teeing off.
I don't think that was 7. I don't think that was 7 though.
I think that was 7. You know,
I don't. If I remember watching again, I don't think that was 7. But I remember he was teeing off, and they said Bohachuk has a rally here. They were like, oh, he has a rally here. And he was rallying. I want to say, I don't think that was 7 though. I don't think that was 7. But I don't know.
I did think he did better as the fight went on. I think he did slightly better as the fight went on. I thought he was landing the bigger shots. I thought that too. I thought that too was there all day long. You know, I was a little bit more like, I think Ortiz has more athleticism for sure. You know, I think he has a little bit more athleticism and better movement and stuff. But I just thought he was getting touched, man. I thought he was getting touched over and over again. So you had it. I mean, 1 point for Ortiz or a draw, how'd you have?
I had it. I want to say. I think the proper scoring is 114 to 112, just like the other 2 judges had it. Yeah. Now, like I said, from what I looked at, the judges' scorecards, the rounds in contention were 7, 8, and 9, because most of them gave Bohachuk the first and the fourth, like we did, and the other, then most of them, one of them gave them. I want to say. No, well, I guess I should say 2 of them. 2 of them gave him the 7th. 1 of them didn't. Then 1 of them gave him the 9th, like I did. Bohachuk the 9th, and then one of the other ones didn't. And the other one that had it even 13-13, he gave Bohachuk 5 rounds plus the 2 knockdowns. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you look at the other scorecards, they had it 4, and they didn't count certain rounds. Like one had it, I got him win the 7th, but losing the 9th. The other one had it, I got him losing the 7th, but winning the 9th. Yeah. And all of them had the closing 10, 11, 12, all for Ortiz, which I had it on. Before I even seen the cards, I was like, he closed the show. Championship rounds, 10, 11, 12. I thought he dominated those rounds. He had the bigger, more impactful shots. And let's go over the thing of impactful shots. I grade impactful shots first. But if impactful shots are few and far in between, then I go to value.
Yeah.
Okay, who landed the most?
That's the way you should do it.
And then who landed the most? Because those impactful shots are few and far in between. Who landed the most? Then, of course, who was pressing the fight and things of that nature, and or whatever, you know, drops, whatever. So really, I thought without the 2 knockdowns, this could have been a much easier fight for Ortiz. I'm not gonna say easy fight because Bohachuk was still in it. Every round was close. Yeah. So it wouldn't have been an easy one, but it'd have been an easier because I feel like most people have Bohachuk winning 4 or 5 rounds, right? The 2 knockdowns is what set it over. What some people think he won, some people think it was a draw or whatever. So those 2 knockdowns, that's 2 extra points, which is big. And I think without the knockdown in round 8, he loses that. In round 8, I think he loses that round. I don't think he wins that round.
No, I agree with you. But I think it's the knockdown that caused Ortiz to really get fired up. If you remember, he got back up and really started to push the issue because he was worried. You know, that's 2 knockdowns in the fight. You got to get up and pull a Terrence Crawford and get after it. The way Crawford did in that Madrimal fight at the end, you know.
I feel like he did that at the end. Same thing Terrence Crawford did. I felt like he did. I felt like he got after it. He started hitting. He got way more active. I just felt like here's my thing is I felt like Victor Ortiz could have made this fight. I said Victor Ortiz.
Vergil.
No, Vergil. Vergil Ortiz could have made this fight a much easier fight.
Yeah.
If he fought like he did in the 10th, 11th, and 12th round, far as boxing a little bit more, instead of just going with the high guard, meeting him in the middle of the ring and let's slug it out. Because I felt like at times, even before the 10th, 11th, and 12th round, it was times that he started boxing and he had success. And I felt like that's when he hurt Bohachuk the most. So when he started boxing and catching him coming in, because Bohachuk corner was kind of telling him, keep it close, don't be at a distance. Because they knew that's how they can get the fight.
Well, I think around the middle of the fight, though, Ortiz tried boxing a little bit, and I thought Bohachuk did a good job adjusting to that change. And then Ortiz kind of went back to how he normally fights, and then he adjusted again in the last 3 rounds. But I did not think he was that effective. He was effective, but for me, he wasn't as effective as Bohachuk. I just thought Bohachuk landed more of the bigger shots throughout the night. And I agree, in those rounds where he wobbled Bohachuk, I think there was 2 of those. I thought that was, big moments for Ortiz, and I definitely credited him with those. But, for me, Bohachuk just did more, man. He just did more.
I just see in some of those punches that Bohachuk was throwing, if we being honest, later in the round, I seen like people saying Vergil was getting tired, but I seen less steam on Bohachuk punches in the later rounds. Some of those later rounds, he was throwing, but they were coming slower. They didn't seem as much as they didn't seem as hard and much intent on him as. And I felt like Ortiz did this in the 9th round. That's why I thought he lost the 9th round, because after he got knocked down the 8th, he came out like a bat in the hell going at him. And then in the beginning of the 9th round, he came out going. But then you kind of see Ortiz had to take a step back, almost like, okay, I expended too much energy. And later on in the 9th round, Bohachuk was able to get off more. And he was able to hey, I think it was the 9th round you're talking about when the announcer was like, oh, he just had a fury coming back. Because I felt like the 9th round, Ortiz came out first on fire and then died after like 30 seconds. And then Bohachuk kind of controlled the round after that. But I felt like I just felt like when I felt like Ortiz mixed it up and didn't just come in, I felt like he fell too much into Bohachuk's plan of let's brawl it out. Because to me, that's the only way Bohachuk could have one is they brawl it out. And Bohachuk's corner actually was saying stay close to him. They wanted a close, not a distance, not him moving around.
Because he was hitting him with a lot of uppercuts too. He was hitting him with a lot of
uppercuts, left hooks. He caught him with, but the thing about Bohachuk, when he was throwing those hooks, it wasn't a wide hook. It was short and it was compact. The sleep, not the sleep, but the slit, the slip right inside of Ortiz's punches when he was punching. It was real boom, quick. It wasn't out here. It was really, he kind of did it inside of Ortiz's looping punches out there to catch him quicker. And so I felt he had success with the left hook, the uppercut. I'd seen what you're talking about, the 1-2. I just feel like Vergil Ortiz leaves his head there too often when you're coming forward. And when you got the high guard, a lot of boxers shoot that uppercut underneath to split it. They split the high guard. They'll start looping punches around to get you open up, shoot the jab in, uppercut. So I mean, I never thought he had the best defense. This is why last podcast, I believe I told you, he would get destroyed by Boots or Bud. Because I don't think he has great defense. He just doesn't. And he has this one way to beat you. He showed that he can box, but he also showed that he doesn't want to box.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he wants to walk you down and just tear through you with his, his explosiveness.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a good fight with Boots, a really good fight. I also think it would be a good fight with Crawford, but I think Crawford, I don't think he showed he's ready for Crawford at all. I think Crawford would absolutely dissect him if he were to fight Crawford like that. If he were to fight Crawford like that, he's got to land something tremendous, or he's gonna get.
I will give
I think
him
he's gonna get countered.
I will give him a puncher's chance against Crawford and Boots. And Boots.
Not
A
Boots.
puncher's
I don't got Boots on that level yet.
Well, whatever you want to say. But people talk about Boots getting hit. People, even his last fight with Bud, they talked about him getting hit with. I'm arguing people. They like, he got hit too many clean right hands by Medramov, and I'm like, dude, it's boxing. You're going to get hit.
Yeah.
I don't know what world we have created, and
Floyd Mayweather spoiled everybody. That's what happened.
No. Because Floyd got hit. I get arguments with people about this. Floyd got hit numerous times, got hurt by numerous people. Zab Judah Floyd put Floyd on the ground. We're gonna say no because his glove touched. We all seen it. They didn't call him knockdown, but his glove touched. Yeah. Floyd glove touched. We seen was it Chop Chop that hurt Floyd, and Floyd had the ball up. We seen him in a dog fight with Castillo, where Castillo actually landed more power punches the first time, I think, around.
Mosley and Maidana.
We seen Mosley, we seen Maidana rock him. Yeah. We seen them get hit. We seen them get.
But he's very he was a better defensive fighter than these guys. So that's my point. He was better defensively than these guys.
Well, because he did less offense in his later in his career, he had less offensive output. Yeah. Early in his career, he was knocking folks out, and that's when he got into with Castillo, where people thought he lost the Castillo fight.
By the way, guys, if it's your first time being here, subscribe to the channel, join the channel, and get your tickets to Fighters Rep 25 and 26 now on sale at FightersRep.com. They go down September 7th in Los Angeles, the beautiful Commerce Casino, and September 21st at the Arion Event Center in Pompano Beach, Florida. You're not going to want to miss these events. The best striking show on earth. Join the channel to help us grow and support these young fighters and build this promotion. FightersRep.com. Get your ticket. What do you think happens next, Gary? Like, I was almost hoping Ortiz would have like a great showing, or even Bohachuk would have a great showing, so we could have some clarity and someone to fight Terrence Crawford next. At least that's what it sounded to me like the Sheikh wanted to do. You know what I mean? Turkey. But, it's looking like it doesn't really make sense. I mean, in my opinion, after a fight like that, because I don't think a lot of people, there's not really a consensus on who won. Maybe a lot of people think Ortiz won, but a lot of people also thought Bohachuk won that fight. I thought Bohachuk clearly won that fight, right? I mean, for me, I'll go as far as to say that I thought it was a robbery. That's how much.
Oh my God, George.
Hey, I'm just saying, from my understanding. Now, if, like I said, if you think Ortiz won, that's totally understandable.
I'm not even saying that, but to call it a robbery is wild to me.
Well, but here's why. So, from my understanding of the scoring criteria, as I'm scoring it, as someone who's looking at effective strikes, and I scored the Crawford fight the same way, and apparently I got that right, but here maybe I got it wrong. But when I score the fight, I have it 7 rounds to 5, and I have 2 knockdowns as well. So I mean, that's the guy's 4 points up on my scorecard. So I mean, even if I give Ortiz the rounds that I'm, even if I'm being generous on the close rounds, if I give Ortiz some rounds back, I mean, I think I could only give him like 3 points back. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it does result in an Ortiz win. Maybe I'm not doing the math right, but. I don't know. I just thought he clearly won that fight, and I think there's debate as to who won the fight. There's a debate as to who won the fight. How do you give the winner of a fight that close, right, where people are split on who won, Crawford? Or what do you think happens? Do they give him Crawford, or they run it back here?
Well, here's my thing is.
And by the way, Bohachuk was the champ.
Yeah, no, I already know that. But here's my thing is that. The way I see it, I don't find it as a robbery. I think that's kind of a stretch to say robbery. I mean, that's like my kid going in, walking out the store with a lollipop, and a person calling the cops saying, "Hey, I just got robbed. No, somebody took a lollipop out your store. A little kid. It's not a robbery. It's a theft, maybe. A little,
it's a petty
something.
It's a petty theft. It's a petty theft.
Yeah, petty theft. You're a lawyer, I mean, I can see you looking at it as that, but a full-out robbery? No, I thought the fight was too close. Too many rounds were too close, in my opinion. Like I call a robbery what happened to Oshaki. What happened to Oshaki? So you don't think?
Yeah, no. For me, Oshaki was the biggest. Oshaki may have been the worst robbery I've ever seen.
That's the inside man job, Denzel Washington type of robbery, okay? But you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, for this fight, it was a lot of rounds that even while watching the fight, they were saying, yo, these rounds are tough to score.
Yeah.
These rounds are close. So when you get rounds that are close, that's why I said seven or nine could have went either way. Just depend on how you see it. Now, I don't see too many rounds that you can say that with, but 7 and 9, I felt could have went either way, and I think that was the big. And even 6, I think, because I think the one judge that scored it a draw, I think he gave him one of the, I think 5 or 6. I can't remember, but he gave him 5 or 6. So those middle rounds were actually the rounds that won the fight based on the judges' scorecards. Those from 5 to about, I want to say 9.
Yeah.
From 5 to 9. And my thing is that I don't call it a robbery. If it's certain rounds that decided, and those rounds were very competitive, because if you look at the Georgia scorecards, when they were scoring it, they were scoring it like 67, 65 points, like with the points and stuff, or 42. 40.
Yeah.
That's how they had it scored. Like, they're not off by much. They're saying that the rounds were close. And I felt like all the rounds were close. And you can look at CompuBox, even though they don't do clean punches. You can look at everything. The rounds were close. Almost all the rounds were close and competitive. They were dog. That's what made this fight so great of a fight. That every round you were like, damn, who won that round? I think I'll give it to him. I think it wasn't like too many clear cuts in the beginning.
I think it was entertaining too, because these guys were landing clean, heavy shots on each other.
Yeah,
like throughout the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It was a give and a take by both of them. It was a back and forward. It wasn't one dude taking, the other dude just giving. It wasn't rounds like that. Every round went up and down to me, and it was a close fight. But you asked me a specific question. Where do we go from here? Now, I think
give it to me. Give it to me. Sheikh, ignorant behavior.
I think Vergil could fight him again. I think Vergil wins, and I think Vergil wins in a more convincing fashion if they fight again. Because Vergil got to see it, he got in there, and he knows if I don't get knocked down twice, I got this fight. Yeah. So I think Vergil comes back in, and Bohachuk is probably confident. Like, I heard him. I had him. I landed some shots, but I just think Vergil, if I had to bet again, I would say Vergil takes it again. So he can run it back, but then you lose on a marquee name like Terrence Crawford, who was pound for pound, which I don't think Vergil can beat. I don't think he's ready for that fight. He says he wants to fight the winner out of Errol Spence and Fundora, which I think that would be the smarter road to go down.
That would be,
and then rematch Bohachuk later if you want to. That would be the smarter fight, because I think
Bohachuk deserves an immediate rematch just because he was the interim champ. You know.
Hey, what you deserve and what you get is two different things in this world. Okay, all right. Does he deserve it? Does he deserve it? Hell, sometimes I have to tell my lady, "Hey, I've been a good husband today. I deserve some coochie today." She sees it differently than me. She totally sees it differently than me. But hey, that's what it is. I mean, or maybe she might agree with me. Or maybe she might agree with me. And she says, you know what? You have been a good dad, a good husband today. You do deserve it. But the gods got me tired today. and I can't give it to you today. Maybe another day. So you don't
Every
always
time,
get what you deserve.
every time we approach 40 minutes, this starts to happen on this damn podcast.
Hey, I'm just trying to get something you can relate to. You know,
Ah,
you
Gary,
might feel like you deserve for your lady to leave you alone and let you watch sports, football, or whatever in peace. She don't feel that way, George. So what you
no,
deserve,
no, you're right.
she feels
Yeah.
like because you were a good husband today, that you deserve for her to be up underneath you all day and for her to tell you, let's watch something else.
Oh,
She thinks she deserves something different, bro.
you're a hot mess, bro. You're a hot mess.
But anyways,
Um,
like I said, like I think, yeah, go after Fundora and Spence and try to get those belts because
I
Spence,
think do
we don't
both,
know
man.
what Spence
I think
is
do
anymore,
I think do
and I
both,
think he
man.
can hurt Fundora. I think he can hurt Fundora.
I think you should do both, man. I think you fight Bohachuk, try to get a decisive win against him. You fight Spence, Fandora, whoever wins from that. Try to win that, and that gives you time to marinate for a guy like Crawford because that's a whole different. Hey,
But this is what I'm saying though.
hey,
I would rather take the risk. See, because Boachuk, because they have sparred before, they know each other, and he even said before the fight, Vergil said, "I can't get him out of here." That means
yeah,
Vergil knew something about Boachuk, like, "Hey, this dude is tough. He
yeah,
ain't no pushover." He said, this might go to distance." That's what he said. He said, "You can't get everybody out of there. I might not get this guy out of here." So he already knew it was a tough fight. So why take the tough fight for less money, even though it's people are talking about fight of the year and things of this nature. Even though that might be the case, what's going to bring you more money in your pocket? Fighting the winner of Errol Spence and Fundora
but
and risking an
Gary,
L there? I
but
can risk an
Gary,
L if I'm going to get paid good. I
but
can't
Gary,
risk it with.
Sometimes you can't go right into it, Gary. You can't just go right into it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta finesse your way in, like a little kisses on the neck, you know what I mean? Spread, you gotta touch it where she likes it, you know what I mean? We can't just be barbarians, Gary. And so that's what I'm saying. You gotta let it marinate a little
You,
bit. You gotta build up that
you're talking my
steam.
language now, George.
You
You're talking my language now, George.
Gary, you
Now
gotta
listen,
build up steam, man, before you go for
you
the
gotta.
glory,
Hey,
man.
Hey, you got to know what type of woman you're dealing with, though. Just like you got to know what type of fighters you're dealing with. What's the
Pound for
risk and
pound,
reward?
bro.
Like,
Hey,
like,
she's
like,
hey,
like.
listen,
Think about it. If you
she's
got a,
pound for pound. She's pound for pound, and you don't want to let her down, man.
hey, listen, hey, listen. I'm gonna put it to you like this: if you got somebody, and it's certain girls you're willing to take a risk with. If you miss out with her, hey, if you miss out with her, you know, hey, I shot my shot. She was worth it. I
Right,
shot my shot. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
I see what
And
you're
I went
saying.
after it aggressively. And I lost. But I went after it. Now it's some other women that
He's talking
you
about
don't want
Terrence,
to have that on your record. You don't want
guys.
to have that on your record that she turned you down.
He's
It's like
talking
I
about
didn't really even
Serhii.
want you.
He's talking about Serhii Bohachuk, by the way, guys. Go ahead, Gary.
I'm just saying, look, certain people you meet, you like, I could talk to her, but I don't want her to make her really think that think that she's beautiful. I think
Yeah.
she's something to do at this point.
Oh
And
my
that's what
goodness.
Bohachuk would be for Vergil. Something to do at this point. Will it be will it give me pleasure to do this? Yes, it would, to go ahead and do this. But if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
go approach her and she turns me down, now she can say, this little chick that I don't even think that's that hot
yeah,
can
yeah,
say
yeah.
that she got me. That's the thing with Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz, can I go back and prove with Bohachuk that I really am better than him and I beat him? But what if
Yeah.
he slips up and catches me or he beats me? Then I lose all these future opportunities of
Right.
making bigger money and all this away. Now, I'm willing to take the L against Errol Spencer Fundora because that's going to be a big payday and it's a big name. And people can say, "Oh, he lost to Errol Spence," but Errol Spence is a stud.
Yeah.
He lost to. Man, it's a bad thing getting turned down by a girl you really didn't think that was that beautiful.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's a bad thing losing out to a girl that was like just something to do at the moment.
Hey,
And that's what bullshit is. Something to do at the moment.
Hey, I'm gonna need a cigarette after this podcast, bro.
I'm just saying, like, I think you go try to fight. I don't think you should jump in with Bud. You're not ready for Bud.
Yeah.
I think Errol Spence and Fundora, just because Errol Spence has been banged up, he's been in and out, injuries, surgeries, eye surgeries, this, that.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's close to what he was. So you might want to take advantage of that. He's a big name. You beat him, that gives you some credibility. Fundora, I feel like Fundora has a lot of flaws.
Yeah.
Fundora, I feel like Fundora only won the Tim Tszyu fight because of the cut on his forehead.
Yeah,
I think Tim Tszyu wins that fight.
I just think there's too much controversy right now for Ortiz to move on to those fights without Bohachuk. But I hear what you're saying. You know,
if he goes back and beat one of those two, people forget about Bohachuk and say he won it. They said he won it. People forget about it.
It's true. I mean, it's unfortunate. Bohachuk, you know, Ukrainian, doesn't really, you know, like he speaks English, but he's not like a draw like that.
He can fight Bohachuk again. Let's say he fights Errol Spence or Fundora and loses. He can go back and fight Bohachuk and still make that money because it was an amazing fight.
That's true. That's true.
And he can still go back, double back. I'll fight you now, get some credibility. I beat you, and then try to get back on that road of winning again. He's not going to be Crawford. And
I feel bad for Bohachuk, though. I feel bad for Bohachuk because I definitely think he earned at least a rematch after a performance like that. You know, I mean, if he would have done a horrible job, you know, I'd be like, all right, move on to the next. Or if it was a clear victory. But, you know, a fight that close, and a lot of people are split on it. You know, I just think it would be right. But, of course, like you said, we don't always get what we deserve. Even when we do perform, we don't always get what we deserve. You know what I mean? So
you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you perform with your lady. You gave it a night of your life. You think you're going to wake up to breakfast? It's not up there. Where's the breakfast? She says, I'm tired. You got to go fix your own breakfast, bro. You got to go to McDonald's.
The life of an alpha male. It's sad, man. It's a sad, lonely life. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you guys, you know, joining us on this one. We always have a lot of fun here with you guys. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, join the channel. Help us continue to build not only the channel, but the promotion. Fighters Rep Promotion is the best striking show on earth. As I indicated, we got 2 shows coming up in September. September 7th at the beautiful Commerce Casino in Los Angeles. September 21st, the beautiful Arion Event Center in Pompano Beach, Florida. Subscribe, follow Ignorant Behavior on Instagram. Right there, you can see the handle on the bottom. Follow me on Instagram, Fighters Rep Fez. Follow Fighters Rep, and we look forward to seeing you guys again on Monday or on Thursday. Also, I want to say I am probably going to be interviewing Rudy Cuevas, who takes on Milshawn Lathan, and we're probably going to do that either tomorrow or the day after. So tune in for that. That's going to be a fantastic fight, Gary, for our light middleweight title. A fight we're all really excited about in the community. And that's all I got. Gary, anything you want to tell Knucklehead Nation before you depart to hopefully get that big fight?
Hey, Boots and Bud washes Ortiz. That's all I got to say. Because George is with me with Bud, but not with Boots. Boots watches them too.
I think Boots is awesome. You know, maybe. You know, I just
no. Stay on that side. You're not like us.
I need to see more of him. That's all. I just want to see a little more of him.
But yeah, no. I mean, like you said, follow me. Hey, appreciate you guys. We good to go right now. See you Thursday.
Good night, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Gary.
Yeah.